Tail Recap Plus is here. A person who is angry is locked up in the United States. His heart is full of hate, which is why his eyes are filled with murder. 6 months ago, Jason's family was still happy, and his wife was kind and beautiful. He was looking forward to the future with his new baby. But while his wife was making dinner, hooded thieves showed up out of nowhere. When Jason noticed something was wrong, his wife was already dead. The smart thieves sprayed LSD on the scene and walked away with a big grin on their faces. He woke up with the murder weapon in his hand, and just so happened that the cops were already around the area. Jason was thought to have killed his wife in this way, so he was given a 50-year prison term. Jared was sent to a private jail on Christmas night. The prison is guarded 24 hours a day to keep inmates from getting out. The jail is right on the water, because all of the most violent criminals in this jail have blood on their hands. There is only one way in and out. It was Jason's day to have a quiet breakfast, but someone was trying to cause trouble. They insulted his wife, and the dinner plate spit. The other person didn't know they were messing with the wrong person this time. After the fight, Jason is brought before Julie, who is in charge of the whole jail and won't give in. He sets up flying car races for the prisoners so that they can be used as assets. Inmates on death row learn how to drive and use modified race cars to kill each other. It is said that someone will be freed from jail if they win 5 races in a row. There are a lot of high-definition cameras on the track, and the race is shown live around the world. A masked driver called Frank, who was very strong, won 3 races in a row in the last race. In the 4th race, Frank's car broke down, and his competitors went after him viciously. Julie quickly hid the news of Frank's death so that the show's ratings wouldn't drop. She needs a strong prisoner to replace Frank and keep the competition going. And Jason is the perfect person for the job. At first, Jason doesn't want to do it, but Julie's offer is too good to pass up. He will be freed if he wins the 5th match by pretending to be Frank. Once the deal was made, Jason came to the work show in order to keep accidents from happening. The car also has nitrogen acceleration and a very strong racing defense. The front and sides are made of 2-centimeter steel plate bulletproof glass, and the back is protected by 15 centimeters thick solid armor. The car also has smoke bombs, barrel bombs, and 2 machine guns with multiple barrels. It's safe to say that the performance was very good. The coach says that the flying car race is split into 3 games. In the first 2 games, the goal is to kill as many opponents as possible so that all of them make it to the finish line. The winner of the 3rd game is the real king. 5 people, namely Chinese-American Green, Jim, former race car driver Cole, Jake, and Julie, are Jason's major opponents. So that they can make money, each race will have hot, beautiful women prisoners from the women's jail acting as racers' guides. Annie, Jason's guide, is even stronger and has saved the day many times with Frank's help. Jason didn't want to hide who he was from Keith, so he took the initiative to take off his mask to start the race. As the lights went out, everyone looked excited, and over 45 million people paid to watch the global live broadcast. Jason took the lead with the floor gas, but the rest of his team quickly ran off, and the pack started to charge, and Jason quickly lost his position. When Keith got to the 4th spot, he quietly told the others to take a shortcut. Jason then stepped on the gas at the intersection to take the lead again. As the 2nd lap of the race began, Julie told the sensors to go off, which set off gunshots, smoke bombs, napalm, and traps. Jason hadn't raced before, so he forgot to turn on the weapons in his first race. The enemy was hiding behind the car and shooting Gatling machine guns at him. However, the driver wasn't very good, and Green, who was excited at this point, was able to break him. At this point, he was happy. He looked at Cole in front of him. Cole didn't want to die, so he quickly ran away from the steel spikes to attack back. Green couldn't avoid the flat tire right away. The driver lost control of the car, and it started to roll. 14K knew it was time to fire a rocket. The wind blew the car away, and it hit the ground hard. Green got out of the car and started to spit the scent at the camera. The next second, he was hit and broken into pieces. Jake put on a big Gatling for the last lap of the race. Well, that power is really cool. Jason's armor was broken from cold following and being hit. Jason told Keith to use the passenger's ejector seat to unload the petrol bomb. Keith popped the bomb high up, and oil poured all over the car. Cole didn't have time to respond before Case threw out the cigarette lighter, setting the car on fire right away. After a fierce battle, Jason always comes out on top. He thought he had won right away, but he didn't realize it until he saw that Jim's provocative move had been met with a hard hit by Jake, who stopped on the side of the road. In the end, the car came in sixth place and had a lot of problems. See the horror of the race, it was clear that Jason didn't want to take part. Julie was ready for this, so she showed Jason a picture of his child and told him she would hurt him. That night, Jason had to give in again. He was mad when he came to the lab. He planned to ask Jim to explain, but he was ready. Jason wasn't expecting to be caught and tied around the neck. Jim was rude and throwing a big wrench to kill. But then Fatty arrived just in time with a sharp pain from behind. While the other person was making fun of Fatty, Jason grabbed the steel block and started to fight back. The person Jason is up against, Jim Wares, can only tell the truth about how his wife was killed. Giving the market a lot of different goods and services is what the company does for a living. Sadly, the jail guards showed up out of nowhere and shocked Jason to save Jim. As planned, the second race took place. Jason didn't freak out when everyone else ran out of the starting point. Instead, he drove into the empty workshop and threatened to eject Keith to expose a bigger plot. It turned out that Keith had been working as a spy for Julie and had been told to hang out with Jason to keep him from winning the race, which would keep him in jail and make Julie more money. Case will be freed if Julie signs an order. Keith now has no choice but to work with them. That's okay. Jason turns on the gas boost to get back on the track for the race. But he's not going for first place this time. Instead, he turned his car around and fired all of its bullets at Jim, the man who killed his wife. Jim starts shooting at each other wildly until he pushes through the shield and sets off the smoke grenade. Jim couldn't be seen because of the smoke, so he ducked and crashed really badly. When Jason saw that Pie Ride High wasn't hurt in the crash, he quickly turned around and went back. At the same time, Julie sends out the Dreadnought, a big killer ship, to make the race more exciting. The Dreadnought had a lot of powerful weapons, and it began firing at the horses. Around the time of Explosion 4, 2 drivers died under the shell. There were fires everywhere. An even bigger lie is that the Dreadnought has a refill device as well. When the tires got puffed up, there was no way out. And the 14K could only die of hate when it saw the bullfit gun. The two of them have to pass the car and push through the skeleton to set off the trap. They are really ready to kill Jason. Putting a bomb on Jason's race car is a good idea. In the late evening, Jason calls Jake with a very risky idea. The third race is coming up soon, and Julie is bottomless to make sure Jason doesn't win. She is in charge of the sensors and gives Jake all the tools. Jake kicks Jason with crazy fire because he has so much gear, and he sees that the tail armor is worn through. Jason took a chance by taking down the shield, but Jake reacted quickly to escape the impact, and then he fired a bunch of rockets. The goal is not Jason's car, but to blow up the gap in the jail wall. One by one, they started to get out of jail. It turns out that Jason and Jake were setting up a plan to hurt Julie. Julie is very angry and wants to set off the bombs, but she didn't realize that the teacher had already defused them. Jason threw down the extra gas tank and stopped the many police cars that were following him on the bridge. The helicopter was in the sky, but it was closely behind them. Jason stepped up to protect Jake. He led the helicopter to the pier and jumped off the car at night. Keith already has a court order to get out of jail, so even if he is caught, he will be safe. With Keith's help, Jason and Jake planned a meeting and then took a train to get away. But Julie found out that Jason was caught, and the show's numbers also hit a new high. There they were in Mexico for 6 months, where they started an auto repair shop. Soon after, Keith also drove there. Jason not only got his kids back, but he also made new friends and found love. The movie is over now. Death Race is a very explosive action movie. Jason Statham can always fight, and his friends should not miss it. We will see you next time. Subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you can watch more interesting videos like this. Thanks for watching.